Welcome back to the most news in the morning. Major Nidal Hassan is in stable condition this morning, off a ventilator in a heavily guarded intensive care unit in San Antonio, Texas. Many are wondering this morning what drove him to allegedly open fire on a crowded room at Fort Hood, killing 13 men and women, most of them fellow soldiers. What, if anything, could have been done to stop him? Joining me now to talk about this is Dr. Jasser. He's a founding member and president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy and a former doctor for the Navy. I know that you are a devout Muslim yourself, so you've got to be concerned in the wake of the shootings about a possible backlash. You know, just yesterday, General Casey, Chief of Staff of the Army, said that he was concerned about a possible backlash against Muslims in the military. So are you concerned about that? And if so, what worries you the most?
Well, I'll tell you, I served for 11 years proudly, left as a lieutenant commander, and I never felt at any moment that I was discriminated against or harassed. And I know things have changed now post 9/11, but we have to realize that the greatest asset in this conflict is American Muslims that can start to treat this ideological virus that's spreading, and certainly it is a problem. But I'll tell you, many of us Muslims are now becoming more and more outraged, and we're going to move and mobilize and act against this ideological threat. And I hope people realize, I can tell you, there's no more pluralistic, tolerant environment than the military. It's a organization that I was proud to serve in, and I never once felt, and I do think that they will realize, the COs and the XOs out there will make sure that the unit cohesion continues and there won't be any type of backlash.
Well, and yet, Dr. Jasser, there are widespread reports that Major Hassan was deeply concerned about being deployed overseas. You know, as a Muslim member of the military yourself, a former member, I'm just concerned. You know, there's an article in the Times today that says that one Muslim soldier was haunted by the possibility that he might end up killing a fellow Muslim. Is that something that you at all struggled with, and do you sense that that's something that Muslim members of the military struggle with right now?
I'll tell you, I personally never struggled with that because I was blessed with having parents that taught me that I could practice my faith more freely in America than in the country of Syria, where they had absolutely no rights and the military was corrupt there. And that's why I was instilled in me to join the U.S. military and give back to this country and this Constitution that gave me the ability to practice my faith of Islam more freely here than anywhere in the world. But one of the aspects of reform that has to happen among Muslims is to separate mosque and state, to take the identity of adolescents and young Muslims and teach them that it doesn't have to be bonded to a ummah or the Muslim community, but it can be bonded to America, and start to teach our Muslim kids the mantra that we are Americans that happen to be Muslim and not Muslims that demand to be American. And I think that victimology concept has to start changing, because the slippery slope of that is basically ends up in radicalism and the extreme form of political Islam.
So you're saying the Muslim community needs to stand up and take action themselves. Dr. Jasser, president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy and a former member of the Navy, we thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Fatigue in the cockpit. It's been blamed for at least one